The calm before the storm. The city of Neo-Titan was a fortress of glass and steel, its skyline glittering under a bruised, storm-heavy sky. On the 88th floor of the Aegis Tower, Captain Ray's Thunderborn stood with his hands clasped behind his back, staring at the horizon. The calm before the storm. The city of Neo-Titan was a fortress of glass and steel, its skyline glittering under a bruised, storm-heavy sky. On the 88th floor of the Aegis Tower, Captain Ray's Thunderborn stood with his hands clasped behind his back, staring at the horizon. His armor, a fusion of alien alloy and human engineering, hummed faintly like a caged storm. "The readings are spiking again," said Dr. Lyra Vance, her voice tight. "If this keeps climbing, the rift will tear wide open." Ray's didn't answer. He could already feel it. The air was charged, the clouds swirling unnaturally. Somewhere beyond the stratosphere, something massive was pushing against reality's skin. Inciting incident, the rift breach. Without warning, the sky split. A jagged wound of white-blue light ripped across the heavens, vomiting arcs of lightning that struck skyscrapers like divine hammers. From the tear emerged shadows the size of mountains, hulking silhouettes with eyes like molten suns. The first one landed with an impact that shattered windows for miles. Its skin was a shifting armor of obsidian plates, its roar a sound that made the air itself vibrate. "Hulk-class entities," Lyra whispered. "But these aren't ours." The first clash. Ray's activated his armor's storm core. Lightning crawled over his gauntlets as he launched himself from the tower, a streak of silver and blue. He hit the first Hulk mid-roar, driving a thunder-charged punch into its jaw. The shockwave flattened cars and sent debris spiraling into the air. But the creature barely staggered. It swung a claw the size of a bus, catching Ray's mid-flight and slamming him through 3 buildings. He hit the ground hard, armor sparking. Enter the Steel Legion. Before the Hulk could finish him, the Steel Legion arrived, a squad of mechanized warriors piloting exoframes the size of small houses. Their leader, Commander Kale Iron Fong, barked orders over the comms. "Legion, Formation Delta. Keep it off Thunderborn while he recharges." The street became a war zone, plasma fire, missile trails, and the deafening roars of the Hulks. Civilians screamed as evacuation drones herded them toward underground shelters. The twist, more Hulks incoming. Lyra's voice cut through the chaos. "Raised, it's not just one. The rift's widening. I'm reading 3 more signatures inbound." The cloud churned violently as 3 more Hulks tore through the breach, each one different. One wreathed in molten rock, another with crystalline armor, and the last a horrifying fusion of flesh and machine. The viral hook moment. Rays knew they couldn't win this fight. Not here. Not now. He opened a private channel to Kale. "We need to push them back into the rift before it stabilizes. If it locks, they're here forever." Kale's reply was grim. "And how exactly do you plan to do that?" Ray's eyes glowed with stormlight. "By overloading my core." Lyra's voice screamed at his ear. "Rays, that'll kill you. The sacrifice play." Ignoring her, Ray's launched himself skyward, lightning trailing like a comet's tail. He punched through the molten Hulk's chest, then the crystalline one, each strike detonating with thunderous force. He reached the rift's edge, his armor's storm core screaming at maximum output. The sky was a maelstrom of light and shadow. The void between worlds. Ray's Thunderborn's vision blurred as the rift swallowed him whole. The city's chaos vanished, replaced by a cosmic abyss, a place where stars bled light and gravity twisted like a living thing. The massive hand still gripped him, its fingers like blackened skyscrapers. From the shadows emerged a colossus unlike the Hulks he'd fought. Twice their size, crowned with jagged horns of crystallized lightning. Its armor pulsed with the energy of dying suns. "I am Vraker, Titan King of the Hulks." The voice thundered directly into Ray's mind. "And you are the spark I will snuff out." Back on Earth, the Steel Legion's desperation. In Neo-Titan, the Steel Legion was losing ground fast. Kale Ironfang's exoframe was dented and smoking, his HUD flashing red warnings. The molten Hulk had recovered, The crystalline one was tearing through buildings, and the cyberflesh monstrosity was hunting civilians. Dr. Lyra Vance worked frantically in the Aegis Tower's command hub, fingers flying over holographic controls. If I can reverse the rift's polarity, I might pull Ray's back, but I'll need a power source big enough to fry half the grid. Kale's jaw tightened. Do it. I'll buy you the time. The Titan King's offer. In the void, Vraker circled Rays like a predator. Your storms are ancient power, Thunderborn. Join me, and I will make you my warlord. Refuse, and I will send your broken body back to your people as my herald. Ray spat blood inside his helmet. You think I'd fight for you? I've seen what your hulks do to worlds. Vraker's grin was a canyon of teeth. Then watch as I take yours. The hulks unleashed. On Earth, the three hulks moved in terrifying unison, as if guided by a single mind, Vraker's. The molten one slammed its fists into the ground, sending rivers of lava through the streets. The crystalline hulk refracted sunlight into searing beams, slicing through Legion mechs. The cyberflesh hulk hacked into the city's defense drones, turning them against their own people. Kale's comms were filled with screams. Lyra's gambit. Lyra rerouted the city's fusion core into the rift stabilizer. The tower's lights dimmed, the streets went black, and a deep hum filled the air. Kale, when I trigger this, it's going to open the rift wider for a few seconds. If Rays is still alive, it'll pull him through. If not, we might get something else. Kale didn't hesitate. Do it. Ray's breakout. In the void, Ray's storm core flared, lightning arcing wildly. He twisted in Vraker's grip, channeling every volt into a single, blinding surge. The Titan King roared, momentarily loosening his hold. Ray's dove toward the swirling light of the rift, but Vraker's massive spear shot past him, impaling the space beside the portal. The shockwave hurled Rays into darkness. The viral hook moment. On Earth, the rift exploded open. A figure tumbled through, but it wasn't Rays. It was another Hulk. This one was different, leaner, faster, its armor etched with glowing runes. And in its clawed hand, it held Ray's helmet. The creature dropped the helmet at Kale's feet. The Titan King sends his regards. The rift bleeds fire. The rift above Neotitan pulsed like a wounded sun, spilling arcs of molten light across the skyline. The new rune-etched Hulk stood motionless in the center of the ruined boulevard. Kale Ironfang's battered mech reflected in its obsidian armor. Behind it, the three original Hulks regrouped, their movements unervingly synchronized. Legion, fall back. Kale ordered, voice low. This isn't a fight, it's a message. The Rune Hulk tilted its head, as if listening to something only it could hear. Cut to Rays, the Titan King's arena. Rays awoke on a platform of black stone floating in the void. Around him, thousands of Hulks stood in silent ranks, their eyes glowing in unison. Above them loomed Vraker's throne, carved from the skull of a dead god, lightning dancing in its hollow eye sockets. You will fight, Vraker said, his voice echoing across the abyss. And you will lose. Your people will watch. A shimmering portal opened beside the throne, showing Neo-Titan under siege. Rays could see Kale, Lyra, and the Legion fighting for their lives. The Titan King's champion. From the ranks stepped a Hulk unlike any other, lean, plated in jagged silver, its arms ending in blades that shimmered with storm energy. Meet Skarn, my champion, Vraker rumbled. He will take your storms in your head. The arena floor cracked as Skarn lunged, moving faster than Rays thought possible. Sparks exploded as Blade met Gauntlet, the impact sending shockwaves through the void. Back on Earth, the siege begins. The Rune Hulk raised its claw, and the other three Hulks moved as one, smashing through the Legion's defensive line. Kale's mech took a direct hit from the Molten Hulk, alarm screaming. He ejected just before the cockpit was crushed. Lyra's voice came over comms, urgent. Kale, the rift's energy is spiking again. Something's coming through. The viral hook moment. In the arena, Rays was losing ground. Skarn's blades cut through his armor like paper, each strike stealing more of his storm energy. Vraker watched, smiling. When he falls, I will send Skarn to finish your city. Ray's HUD flashed critical warnings. His storm core was at 12%. He had one shot left. He feinted left, then drove his fist into Skarn's chest, releasing everything in a single, blinding detonation. The explosion hurled them both toward the edge of the platform. The shadow over Neo-Titan. The colossal warship tore through the rift like a blade through silk, its hull blotting out the sun. It wasn't just a ship. It was a fortress, bristling with siege cannons the size of skyscrapers. The Titan King's sigil burned across its prow, a jagged crown encircling a storm eye. Kale Ironfang stood in the street, helmet under his arm, staring up at the impossible. Legion, all units, prepare for orbital fire. Cut to Rays, the fall into the abyss. In the void arena, Rays and Skarn tumbled toward the edge. Ray's storm core was nearly drained, his armor cracked and sparking. Skarn's chest smoked from the last hit, but the champion's eyes still burned with killing intent. At the last second, Vraker's massive hand closed around them both, lifting them like toys. Enough, the Titan King growled. The city will fall without this charade. He hurled Rays into a cage of lightning, suspended above the throne, Skarn kneeling at his feet. The warship's first strike. On Earth, the warship's cannons rotated into position. A deep, resonant hum built in the air, the sound of a weapon charging to erase a city in one shot. Lyra's voice crackled over comms. Kale, that's a planet breaker cannon. If it fires, Neo-Titan is gone. Kale's mech was gone, his weapons low, but his voice was steady. Then we take the fight to the sky. The Legion's last push. The Steel Legion rallied, using grappling thrusters to scale the Molten Hulk's back. Plasma charges detonated along its spine, staggering it long enough for Kale to commandeer a damaged exoframe. The Rune Hulk moved to intercept, but Lyra triggered the city's orbital defense satellites. Beams of concentrated light rained down, forcing the Hulks to scatter. Viral hook moment, the Titan King's arrival. In the void, Vraker stepped toward the rift, his massive form beginning to phase through. The warship's cannons stopped charging, not because they were done, but because their master was coming to lead the assault himself. Ray slammed his fists against the lightning cage, every muscle straining. Vraker, you want me? Come and take me. The Titan King's head turned, a slow, predatory smile spreading across his face. The rift erupts. The rift above Neo-Titan exploded outward, lightning and fire spilling across the sky. Vraker's full form emerged, a living mountain of armor and stormlight, landing on the warship's hull with a quake that shattered windows for miles. Kale's comms went dead from the shockwave. Seconds to annihilation. The warship's cannons glowed, white-hot, aimed directly at the Aegis Tower. Inside, Dr. Lyra Vance's hands flew over the controls, desperately trying to overload the city's shield grid. Outside, Kale Ironfang stood in the street, battered and bleeding, staring up at the Titan King towering on the warship's hull. If this is it, Kale muttered, we go down swinging. Cut to Rays, the breakout. In the void, Rays hung in the lightning cage, his storm core flickering like a dying star. Vraker's attention was on Earth now, his massive form halfway through the rift. Rays closed his eyes, feeling the storm inside him. He didn't have enough power to break the cage, but he had something else. He slammed his gauntlets together, channeling the last of his energy into a signal pulse, a coded burst only Lyra would recognize. The signal received. In the Aegis Tower, Lyra's console lit up with a storm pattern frequency. He's alive, she whispered, and he's telling me to open the rift wider. Kale's voice crackled over comms. That's suicide. No, Lyra said, it's a trap. The viral hook moment, the storm unleashed. Lyra overrode the rift stabilizers. The tear in the sky exploded open, sucking in debris, fire, and even parts of the warship's hull. In the void, the cage shattered. Rays was free. He dove through the rift like a thunderbolt, trailing arcs of lightning so bright they lit the entire city. He hit Vraker mid-stride, the impact shaking the warship and sending shockwaves through the clouds. The final battle. The Titan King roared, swinging his spear in a wide arc. Reyes ducked under it, driving a storm-charged uppercut into Vraker's jaw. Kale and the Legion launched their final assault, swarming the Hulks with everything they had left. Lyra redirected the warship's own cannons, turning them on its engines. The sky became a battlefield of fire, lightning, and steel. The turning point. Reyes locked Vraker in a grapple, forcing him toward the rift. "You don't belong here," Reyes growled. "Neither do you," Vraker snarled back. With a final surge, Reyes unleashed his core overload, a blinding stormburst that engulfed them both. The shockwave ripped through the warship, tearing it apart. The Hulks screamed as they were dragged back into the rift.